In this tutorial, we will create a mirrored version of the idle animation. We do this for two reasons. The first is that we can do a direct transition inside compose mode from the idle to the walk cycle without creating another transition animation. The second reason is that we create a bailout point halfway through any of the walk cycles back down to the idle motion. The mirrored version of the idle will be very similar to the center position of the walk clip. Let's go to File and Load, DynoRig idle.fxs. We need to mirror this animation where the back right foot is forward and the left foot that's forward needs to be back, and the top here, this S curve, needs to be switched around. When we play this animation, nothing is moving on the top, it's all going to be vertical animation here at the bottom. So we're going to use a couple of techniques. One is just straight off keyframing, just pushing the keys around so that they match, and using the other parts of the timeline as a buffer to store garbage keys to copy and get one good looking key. Now we can do that with the feet because the feet are static. We just need to get the first part down and then we can copy all of the values to all of their keyframes in the feet. So the front foot here, make sure you're in parent coordinate space if you are in coordsys, or turn it off and use the left mouse button. Frame 0, I'm going to move this foot back so that it is lined up with the other foot. Use the A key to center the selection and line them up. Go to, say, frame 30, which is one of the older keyframes. Pick the back foot and move the back foot forward. This is the garbage keyframe. We're just moving it forward to align up with the other keyframe so that we have a perfect mirror going on. And while that's selected, right click and copy the keys for all of the channels in that object. Go back to frame 0, right click, paste, and to paste all those channels. So now we have an accurate mirror on the static objects in the scene. Multi-select those and make sure your group is turned off. Just make sure it's set to selected items. And generate a keyframe for this pose on just the feet by tapping Enter. Create a value at frame 0, enter again, create one at frame 30, which is the identical keyframe, and at frame 60. So as you cycle through now, the feet are locked in the mirrored position. So on to the next. Let's go to a top view. And now that the feet are in the mirrored position, we need to mirror the trunk all the way up through the spine and the tail. Now luckily we don't have that many objects to mirror, so we can go use the edit mode copy key range block. What copy key range does is it allows you to mirror the channels around from different ranges from different objects. Or in this case, since we're trying to mirror the same animation across, we just need to load the object's channels, mess with them, and paste them back onto the object in the same range. So if you pick the hips, load the hips into source, make it the destination, the in and out of the range are already set to our 60 frames. The channel group setting is going to mirror channels on just heading and bank. If you want to see what that looks like, check preview and it will show up there and it looks correct. So hit transfer. Grab the spine, make sure the spine is loaded as source and destination, and we don't need to see the preview, we know it works. Hit transfer. Back of the tail, load those up, transfer, and the base of the tail, load those up and transfer. So it looks correct right now. So we've mirrored the animation across. Now there's a caveat on the tail. What mirror animation does is it marks a little negative sign in front of anything that isn't negative, and anything that is negative it takes it away. So it flips the values around. So we had this set at 175 degrees, and now it's just made it negative 175, which we can't really have on heading. We need to have it back to a positive 175 because we are going to put it in gimbal lock if we're not careful. So here's how you can change that so that it's in positive territory again. So I'm just going to do that right now. So if we do 175 right now, that's where it was before. So just drag it so that it represents a decent value here. That's 184. So let's just grab these other ones and just push those up until they match. So now we should have an animation that lines up. Now that looks kind of confusing, but it will make more sense fixing it this way so that we are always in the positive territory that it was sitting in before versus negative. It's going to spin around when you do a cross blend between something that was in the positive area and the negative area. I'm sorry to have to do that to you, but now we have a mirrored animation here of the idle animation. So this animation is going to be able to transition directly to the walk And because this is going to be very similar to the halfway mark during a walk cycle, you can bail out and transition back to this animation without doing an intermediate clip that has an animation that blends between the two. Let's create a clip for that. Go to Compose. Let's name this clip idle_mirror. Same settings here that we have before. Copy that. So now we should have two clips in the scene that we created. This idle mirror we will save current into the motion folder. Call this one idle_mirror. Save that and save this scene as idle_mirror.